How's it going, guys? Baffle T here, back again with another video. Now today I'm talking about how medical cannabis has changed my life. Over the last year I've done a lot of work with Cura Leaf and reporters for places like The Sun, The iPaper, The Telegraph and so on, talking about my experiences with medical cannabis, how it's improved my life. And I think at the moment it's really important because the UK government are looking into reasons to keep it. They want evidence that it's affecting people. Now, to really get started with this, I want to show the video interview that I did with Cura Leaf, because I think it rounds off everything that I think about in terms of how it treated me quite nicely. So I'm going to roll that here. My life pre-medical cannabis in 3 words: chaotic, confusing, dysregulated. Hi, I'm Tom and I have combined ADHD. Growing up with ADHD was very tough because exhibiting symptoms and not having the reason for why it's happening is very disheartening, demotivating, and it can just really drive down someone's confidence. I struggled to keep a job for 3 months, so probation periods, countless jobs. It just causes all kinds of chaos within yourself. Since joining Cura Leaf Clinic, my self-esteem has been way better. My ability to be able to do content creation has gone way up. I can direct my concentration a lot better. I can focus in on stuff way better. My life with medical cannabis in 3 words: productive, consistent, happier. Some of the things I was going through with that is talking about obviously the difference in how I can perform, consistency and stuff like that due to medical cannabis, but also the availability is huge. One issue that I did have with NHS, Ritalin, stimulant medication was that it was so on and off. I tried to get some recently and it's been brushed off. I need to get recertified and the titration. I need to do titration again for the medication that I'd already been passed with because I went so long without it due to shortages. Now I have to wait up to 10 months to start that process again. So to randomly get months on end where you're unmedicated, it's just not sustainable at all. One of the reasons I wanted to do that filmed interview with Cura Leaf Clinic is because I used them and I had an absolute breeze going through getting started, and like I've said in that, my life has improved dramatically in all ways, shapes or form. I used to struggle to maintain a job. I was working multiple different jobs. As soon as the novelty wore off, gone, see you later. Whereas now I'm working as a YouTuber for myself, as you can see, because I'm here doing it, and it's generating revenue for me. I'm doing editing work on the side, and just the work I do, I'm more happy doing it. It brings me joy to do it, and I just enjoy the whole aspect of earning money now. Is just it's pleasing, for a lack of a better word. I did an interview with the iPaper, and with them I was talking a lot about the transition from Ritalin over to medical cannabis and just sort of varying stuff with price, how it's done, how it felt like the rug was being pulled from underneath you, saying everything's okay, you've got this diagnosis, you can do stuff you need to do, we'll support you, here's the medicine that you need, and then, oh, can't have that anymore. It's very demoralizing. And then trying to explain to your employer why you can't perform as well, without trying to make it seem like an excuse, without getting imposter syndrome, without applying a mask. It just gets way too on top. So to have that ease to be able to, sign up with Cura Leaf or one of the other ones, and very, very quickly within a month be able to get medication that's suitable to you, and it varies, so you can get new ones and try new stuff. Nicer, a lot more relaxed, and it's a helping hand when you need it. The whole point is you're not meant to go straight to that. You're meant to try the conventional ways, and then if that doesn't work, you lead into it. And a lot of the time with the struggle of it is that people feel like they're going to be judged, and there's a lot of stigma around it. A lot of the stigma around the mental health of it is invalid. because a lot of the mind numbing, bit of hair, a lot of the mind numbing aspects of it are purely from the unregulated versions. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had some legal medicated strains that blow my head off. However, that's not their intended purpose. If you're getting one that's an indica dominant and you have trouble with sleeping, then that's perfect. If but would you have that first thing you do when you wake up? Maybe not. Maybe you'll have a sativa for that point. Someone's there to guide you through, someone's there to talk you through it. And because it's made so precisely, because it's made properly, it's dried. Some people on the street might put it on some bread and let it soak up some bread moisture. And then you're buying it thinking that it's fresh. No, it's not like that at all. You have actual scientists, actual professionals who know what they're doing, curating it. They are tending to the plant, drying it professionally, so every bit of weight is the intended plant. They give you a little, well, they don't give you have to buy one, but you get a little vaporizer so you don't have to deal with Rizla smoke or tobacco or any like smoke filler or any replacement smoke. You don't have to deal with any of that. Vaporizer, sorted. And as well, you just put the bud straight in. It's actually quite good. I haven't got mine here, but I'd show you. And then have oil to sleep. So the oil is very good. You just open it up. You can get a little bit on your finger in the daytime, one little drop, and just take it away from your evening dosage, whatever. Just the peace of mind and having regulated stuff and having a person sit with you once every 3 months and go, what's good about it, what's bad about it, what can we do better, what can we do worse, what changes do you need, do you feel weird in any way, is it affecting you in any negative ways, what are the pros, cons. Someone sitting and discussing with you every 3 months. And if you don't have one of those discussions, they cut off your medication. So there's no way around it. If you're visibly struggling, they're going to notice and your medication is going to change from that. So there's no real downside with this level of supervision, and the quality control is so much better for a individual who is using. And even like as a base level at the very bottom, it's still not a very harmful thing. But to have this improved and like refined version, there's just minimalized damage. And you get all like, I call it productive because it's very productive. Like, it's weird to have one, and be through the roof in productivity. It just doesn't really make sense, but it's how it works. The last thing I did was one with the Sun. I think they split it into two, but the one I have here is from the Sun Health. I'll put the headline of the other one here. Now, what they were trying to get across in this one was the difference, the impact on the NHS. It was used around the time that Keir Starmer cut NHS England, the little department within the NHS. It was like, I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something like, it was like a supervising body over the NHS for spending. I don't know what it was. I'm not one to comment on that. They used it as an example due to the fact that, cuts are being made and shortages at the same time. It's a bit goes into the feeling of having the rug pulled from underneath you, of being given, look, this is your medication, congratulations, you can be normal for a bit, sorry mate, we can't get those anymore, you're going to have to wait like 12 months. That's a great one, highlighting the stress of that. In this one, they were talking about the fact that prescription drugs for ADHD went up 18%, and that pressure on top of like an already short supply just blew up the whole thing. And there was this weird thing I remember being told about where they had two different medications being short. So one got short, new patients got the second one. Then the fact that everyone got the second one meant when the first one came back, there was a shortage of the second one, and people weren't allowed to switch because it's not like you can try this one day, you can try this another day, and it'd be fine. You have to get used to it. You have to spend like, I think for me personally, when I did Ritalin, it was like 2-3 weeks to get used to it, for it to feel like normal, a more normal transition, if that makes sense. Because it's quite like going from nothing to you know, sometimes 30 milligrams, like it's a bit of a bumpy road at start where you're a bit like, whoa. So that's what I was trying to highlight there. Now, the thing with Ritalin is Ritalin's really good for productivity and longevity. You do one long release and the day's fine. It just kind of feels like it just strips your personality a bit. If you need to get like an essay done, right, or a day or work day, can't speak, a day's work in the office or something along those lines where you need to really just sit down, be productive on one thing for such a length of time, that is obviously the way to go. But it's like quite rigid against your normal function in a day. Now, what I would say is the difference with medical cannabis is it sort of flows more with you and your day. So you still have like the quirkiness of ADHD. Like I still have moments of forgetfulness. I still have distractibility. It's just proper minimized, but it still keeps that aspect of me in there, because obviously you've got ADHD. So if you wipe out all the ADHD, what's left? You just Mr. Hello, I am a robot. Me personally, I mean, I have to stress this every single time. It's different for every single person. Someone's gonna find stimulant medication better, especially if it's hyperactive ADHD. That might be the case, or inattentive too. You know, there's such an umbrella of everything. That's one of the reasons I personally like medical cannabis, is because there's always a new strain that you can switch to if one doesn't. I like to think of it like there's amount of strains for the amount of neurodivergence for the things that it covers anyway. So like all the different tweaks and stuff, there'll be a certain strain just for you. I'm a firm believer in that, and I found the one for me anyway. Back on track. Now with the sun, I went a bit more in depth with my experience with working. Now I was working as a caretaker. The company, it was like a little side section of NHS that you did the referrals through, you did the medications through, and then they dispatch you back to your GP. As that happened, I had 1 month's worth of medication and I just started a job. Now that first month went amazingly. No issues, everything went swimmingly. Then about a couple months in, maybe 2 months in, I needed to start rationing. Like badly ration. Like before I was just doing half my dose, but every day. Still not ideal, but manageable. Then I started doing it only on the work days and going unmedicated on the days in between, which meant in between I was crashing and not getting proper rest. And then as I was slowly running out, my performance was dropping. And for some reason, I don't know if it's if it's an age divide, I don't know if it's an old gen, new gen thing, but they just didn't understand the difference that the medication was making. As soon as the medication went and I started showing these symptoms, bearing in mind I was being a caretaker working alone in a building, little organisation things, little jobs that were being missed but weren't important, little things like that just kept tallying up, and they didn't have the foresight to go, oh, it's ADHD, we know about this. They just went, well, why is he not doing it now when he did it before? As I started doing more medical cannabis, that recovered a bit, but I unfortunately had a very tough time. So my personal thing, I couldn't, even with sustainable medication, continue with that job. It just didn't work out for me. That then pushed me on to working for myself, being able to have constant access to a form of medication privately. It costs a bit more, but it's always there. Being able to have that meant I was more consistent with uploads, I was more consistent with creating content, creating opportunities for content, and now I'm doing what I love, which is this, and editing work, which is doing this for other people, or helping out other. Anyway, I now love what I do. I can now get up in the morning, want to do what I do. Like work doesn't feel like a chore for me right now. Obviously the workload is a chore, but the overall aspect of it is a form of dopamine for me. So I'm winning. I'm not sure how long it will last. I might need to get another job and go back into that realm, face it again. But now having the prescription for medical cannabis, I now have no reason to worry about working and using medical cannabis, as long as I'm transparent with my employer and I'm not working machinery or doing anything while impaired. with full transparency, there is no issue with me doing that and working. Now there is, I've mentioned before, there is the taboo of it, and that's the discretion of you and your manager and any of your colleagues and such. But at the end of the day, it's you, your medication, and the job is getting done, and that's all that matters. That's all that legally matters. No job can take it away from you. They can discriminate against it, but discriminating against the medication is the same as discriminating against the illness, which you can't really do. I know that there's preferences. If there's heavy machinery or construction work, might be a little bit different if you're operating heavy machinery. Yeah, but you can drive with medical cannabis, so as long as you're not impaired, as long as you're not like this, and you'd crash, it's all good. It's all about, again, it's all about the nuances. It's about being your right self. Also, little side note, they mentioned in a lot of these that I do my content creation, and I'm very happy about that. Kind of makes it validate. I know it's my job, I know I earn money for it, I know I'm explaining to people that I do this stuff, but it's nice, you know, it's nice to have that. It's nice to be recognized. It's nice to be able to pull up a paper and go, look, I'm an influencer. Yeah, the Sun said so. It's just nice. And for that, I thank you guys, everyone that's watching this. If you're new here, yeah, I do reaction videos and everything like that, but it's all over the place. I do shorts, I do memes, I'm trying to do everything. And that's why I'm making videos like this. I'm sharing my story. And I feel like people will either resonate with it, it may help a few people, or just let someone know, like, yeah, I have that too. You shouldn't feel worried about how people think about you if you do turn to medical cannabis. And if you don't use medical cannabis and it's not right for you, don't feel ashamed to try it and move on and go back to whatever one works for you. Again, always go with the one that's best for you. And at that note, that's been me, Baffled T. Subscribe. You won't regret it. That's a Baffled T guarantee. I'll see you lot next time. Peace.
It's just a state of mind.